If you had told me I was going to wind up on a church staff preaching every month, I would have laughed in your face. I got pulled into congregational ministry on a wild ride that can only be described as spirit-led. It started when I was 6 years old. I had what some denominations would call a salvation experience. Years later, at 21, I heard a voice, and I believe it was the voice of God, said, "You have the love they need if only you can find a way to get it out." That's how I landed at seminary. I quickly realized people were antagonistic to women who were there pursuing pastoral ministry. We tried to start a women in ministry group on campus, and somebody went around and defaced our flyers, and where it said Fellowship of Women in Ministry, they wrote in Fellowship of Women Imitating Ministers. This was in the early 1990s. There weren't places for openly lesbian women, and I struggled mightily with it. It was not good news. It felt all-consuming, honestly, because my life had always found roots in church life. It felt like the leg on the stool was pulled out. And I pretty much said, I'm never setting foot in church again. I was angry, and angry not just at the church, but at that point I was angry at God too. I closed myself off to thoughts of pursuing ministry. I didn't write anything for years. Basically withdrew into myself. In '99, there was this ad in the paper for a church in Raleigh, a thoughtful and progressive community of faith. I couldn't put it down for some reason. It got me to come to a church service. His sermon that day was about the doors of the church being open to all. I got drawn in, but I started to feel it again. Chaplaincy, I had found a calmness within myself, a groundedness that allowed me to be with other people through the hard times they were going through. In November of 2023, Mary Elizabeth arrived at Umstead Park as the interim minister, and that stirred up the joy I used to have. It felt like if I missed a Sunday, I might miss something important. I might miss a word that I needed to hear. She came to be a mentor.
There was something that kept at her, that kept calling to her, even as she had other seasons that were really important. She couldn't escape this call to congregational ministry.
And I remember telling her, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I want to preach. And that was the first sermon I had preached in 24 years. And I preached about grief. Literally, for 24 hours afterward, I could not speak because I felt the power of it so deeply.
One of the themes throughout our conversations is you have that power. You deserve to take up this space. Keep talking, keep talking.
And she continued to just send me out there. She gave me more opportunities to preach and more opportunities to do ministry. And I've discovered that I do have a voice. I have something to share. I know what it's like to be marginalized. So I'm able to preach about that in a way that resonates with people because I've lived through it myself.
This is about finally becoming who she has always been called to be.
It feels amazing to be able to do things that I had given up believing were possible for me.
Do not mistake the human impulse to close doors with a lack of God's calling or accompaniment, because God sticks with us through doors being closed again and again.